5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. Now, here's Tom Silverstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. And we're here after the Packers took another loss in Pittsburgh. And as I recall, I don't remember if you agreed, excuse me, but I said it was important for them to at least compete in this game and not get blown out. And I would say they did. I would say they were very competitive. What did you take out of the game?
Well, some encouraging signs. But at this point, you're 3-6, which is my favorite number, by the way.
Oh, really? How come?
Obvious reasons. But I just wanted to, Tom, at some point, you have to dumb it down in your mind and say, am I asking for too much?
Mm-hmm.
So when they scored in the first quarter, standing ovation.
Right.
Because you haven't been doing that. In the first half, you want to see improvement. You really do. Now, on offense, I want to see more improvement from Jordan Love. I want to see growth. I want to see somebody that wants the smoke of being possibly the next quarterback in this organization that can be very good.
Mm-hmm.
He made some throws, maybe 7 to 10 throws that was platinum.
Yeah, he sure did.
Just great throws. I think he have 40 attempts.
Yeah, it was,
give or
gosh, I can't remember the exact
Yeah,
number.
we had a lot of attempts. But he also had 7 throws that were head scratchers. So then he had 7 throws that kind of somewhere in the middle.
Borderline,
Yeah.
Maybe overthrown, maybe forced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the rest were just, you take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
That needs to be more like 10 great throws for them to feel like the last couple games, or some games in the past, they lost a game when he had the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
That's how you develop the clutch thing that if I got time on the clock, in my mind, I could bring us back.
Yeah.
So you saw some of that growth, and that makes you feel good about that.
I think the difference is that he probably had those 7 head scratchers, the 7, and the 7 close, but he has not had the 7 platinum in one game yet. To this point. And
that's a great point.
And that's
great point.
That's the part that's the advancement. And I'll tell you, I thought that his receivers, his rookie receivers, have taken a huge jump in just 2 weeks. Jayden Reed is proving to be probably their most dangerous weapon right now. Would you agree?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
For my own self-satisfaction, Gary Ellison, who's my person on the Leap 36 podcast, actually on Spectrum News 1, we got into a debate. And it's kind of semantics. Who's the go-to guy? Who's the guy? I think it's Musgrave, but it's a different position. Reed, he chose Reed. So my thing was, you want to see Reed more targets and more clean catches all the time before we put either one of them a label on it. But as a receiver, yes, I would agree that he is not playing like a rookie in spots.
Yeah.
He kind of knows where to go. He's a smart guy. And I like that he shows the speed, too.
Yeah,
and that can be really good. But you wanted that person to be Watson.
Right.
You wanted that. But I like the fact that, because if you're trying to force it to receivers, sometimes you can get a lot of interceptions. Because the four of his interceptions, 5 to Watson.
5 to Watson.
That's being picked off.
Yeah.
Maybe you should go towards Reed a little bit more when you got to have it.
Do you think Reed is a good route runner, or is he just a really good slot guy? Sometimes slot guys are just really good athletes.
That's a great question. Here's why I thought Antonio Freeman, Robert Brooks, and it seems like Edelman, they don't run route. They run to get open.
Yeah.
Those guys are hard to defend. Guys are good route runners. They're dangerous. But a guy that run to get open, those guys are way more dangerous because he can have a 12-yard route. He'll cut it to 10 if you're on top of him. If you're behind him, he'll keep going.
Yeah.
And he knows that. So
I think we saw that on the first play of their last drive, that 46-yarder, and we'll show that on X's and O's where he just got open.
Just get open.
He broke his route and got open for Love.
Everybody can't do that.
Yeah.
So shout out to Reed.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think that he's going to be a bigger part of the offense. Now let's talk about Christian Watson. There seems to be an expectation that he's going to come down with everything they throw at him. And I think people got kind of
enamored.
Enamored, got the cart ahead of the horse because he got off to such a great start last year.
Yes.
But they got to remember, this guy's coming from a mid-major college where nobody could cover him. He didn't have to run precise routes.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Musgrave went to Oregon State.
Yeah.
Reed went to Michigan State. He's playing good corners every single week. You know, Wicks went to Virginia. He's facing good corners every week.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, they need to take some pressure off of Watson. What do you think? Or do you think they should just keep trying to get him going?
Well, here's the thing about Watson. You got to have a burst that. Here's the difference between like a Randy Moss or a Jerry Rice or a T.O. Because when I'm sitting talking to these guys, what makes a good receiver? And a guy like Isaac Bruce, who runs pristine routes.
Yeah.
They have great chemistry with the quarterback. And these guys were all good at something. Moss, down the field.
Right.
If he's ever one-on-one, try to out-throw him, and you couldn't.
Right.
T.O. was like, throw it intermediate, I'm going to break tackles and go because he's bigger. And then Jerry Rice runs the route tree better than anybody at the same speed. All of the routes at the same speed. With Watson, at this point, you just don't know what he's good at.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah. If he's a 9-route runner, then out-throw him twice a quarter. That's 8 targets.
Right.
And then does he run slants? I mean, whatever he's good at, they got to figure that out.
Yeah.
And work. I don't know if he's healthy yet because I don't see the burst we saw last year.
I agree. I was watching that. We'll show it on here too on the route that Reed scored the touchdown. I'm watching both of them, and you know Reed's peeling off this way and Watson's this way, and they both have a guy on their hip, on their hip.
Yeah.
And Reed outruns the two guys. He's got 2 guys on him, and he outruns them both. Watson, the guy's still on his hip as he gets to the corner. So some of that's probably route running, you know. I mean, you got to give that guy, you know, some sort of indication like I might bend it in or I might bend it out. I don't know that he's got the little intricacies of route running, right?
Well, in the last interception, he run a double move. You got to sell it. If you don't sell it, Patrick Peterson, 8-time Pro Bowler, 5-time Pro, he ain't biting.
No.
Sell it. You got to really sell it. Look back and then go. You need that defensive back to break down.
Right.
If they don't break down, of course they're going to get their hands in there.
Yeah.
And he has to figure that out. And that was a good play call.
Yeah.
But once he didn't run the route as a quarterback the way I wanted, I'm coming off of him going to Musgrave or somewhere else.
Yeah.
But first, I'll give you a first progression. I'm going to look away, go to you, and go back.
Yeah.
I'm just never going to throw it hoping you to make a spectacular play. So route running, intensity, double moves, he's going to have to work on that. Because that's the only reason why you can get deep sometimes. Because a guy got a big cushion top. If I run a curl, he's going to come up. Then you're going around him.
Right.
But if you don't sell the curl, he'll just stay off of you. And if he throws a pick.
Sure.
Yeah, and Matt LaFleur talked about that in the press conference.
Yeah.
He said, you know, you got to sell it. You got to look back.
I thought, now I'm not an expert on route running, so I don't know. But the Musgrave route where he was against a single high and he bent it to the corner and caught it. You
Yeah.
know, that was like a long gain, 28
Yes.
yards or something.
Yeah.
I watched it a couple times, and it just looked like he knew to keep occupying that safety and then break it off at the
Yes.
right time. And that must be like, maybe that's the development of Luke Musgrave, is now he's understanding, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Running those corner routes
Yes.
better so that the ball isn't, you know, behind him, or
Yeah.
this one was right on the money.
And the thing about him, of course, he's one of my favorites. I'm a, like, distract for him. But the thing about tight ends, because as a safety, I was an architect, and I thought, not to give myself a lot of credit, but I was brilliant on tight ends running routes. I used to go talk to them. I don't care what the route is, Tom. If those two safeties are in cover two and go deep, you take the middle. And the quarterback knew it. Say you had a wide stick. But if you see that middle, those safeties, you got to take that middle. And it's just you in the middle linebacker. That's a big play.
Right.
So I used to go to the Shannon Sharps of the world and say, what made you do that? I don't need to be told to take that middle when these safeties split. Musgrave is a bigger, taller guy. You know, him and the Kincaid kid from Buffalo, they sit down and look at Travis Kelce runs to get open.
Right.
That's why he's always open. But he knows if those safeties do this, I'm taking the middle, and the quarterback got to give it to me. That kind of stuff will come, but if he has that, real quick, there was another route, it was in trips, and it was like all go, and he bent it too far inside, and Jordan threw it behind him. He'll know once a guy is up on you, the quarterback gonna throw it on your back hip.
Yeah.
That's a touchdown.
Gotcha.
So Jordan threw it right, and Musgrave went too far inside.
Oh, okay. I don't.
Because he's probably thinking I'm trying to clear it out for the seam route, but no, his ball's coming to you. In the red zone, trips, you go in and come back, there's a ball, touchdown.
Okay.
So that's the kind of stuff that frustrate coaches.
Yeah.
But in the four games, they lost a combined 11 points.
Yeah.
They could have won these games.
Yeah.
But the Pittsburgh game gives you a little bit of heartburn because you see some growth, you see it, and then you get a point after blocked.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing.
I want to pat ourselves on the back because we pointed out how the Steelers would use a linebacker to cover. Remember we did the DeAndre Hopkins play, and that was the exact same thing that happened with Musgrave, lining up flexed out, and he beat that linebacker. So I just want to give us a little pat on the back
we
there. Okay.
take some time.
Let's go over to defense, which you know, it seems like we had kind of laid off them for a couple weeks.
Yes.
And now they come back and show themselves as the team that can't stop the run again. What'd you see?
Well, I'll start with the positive first. Very encouraged, Tom, with the law firm of Valentine and Valentine.
Yeah.
The Time brothers. Not only were they on point, and they wanted all the smoke. Like, I'll cover a guy with no help. It seemed that when the babies are out there, they play more bump and run. But when Jair out there, and when they had 29, they would be off. And I don't get that part. But they were up in these guys' faces, and they frustrated Pickett and the receivers. They get, like I said, a few plays, but I can think of some plays that the coaches probably thinking, you know what? I'm going to play coverage, because I got two young guys on the corners, and I'm not going to let Kenny Pickett have a career day. When the opposite should have been, no, I'm going to force Pickett to do a career day, and I'm stopping the run.
Right.
Because I've done it the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Because if you're giving up 200 yards to Warren, who's a good back, but to me, one of the stiffest backs in the league is Najee Harris. The holes he had to run through was, I mean, it's almost unacceptable. But I kind of I was listening to the press conference, and there was a question to LaFleur about the nickel defense.
Yeah, this is a big thing on Twitter that, you know, he's playing nickel.
Yes.
Joe Barry's playing nickel inside the 10-yard line or too often. And from what I can see, he's matching personnel. But let's talk about that. So anyway, he
said they're still linemen.
The question he said,
what was the question?
what LaFleur said was that there are 4 down linemen.
Okay.
People are saying they're only using 2 down linemen. What they should be saying is that he's using 2 defensive linemen and 2 outside linebackers who are acting as defensive ends in a nickel, which is a 4-man pass rush.
Yeah.
But the question is, you have, I guess, what you would consider a 6-man box, unless you bring in the safety up, and it's a 7-man box. I think, to me, the question is, can you play your base defense against 3 wide receivers?
That's the question.
That's the question that I think needs to be asked.
That's the question. See, it gets confusing how we were trying to mentally gymnastics put it, but in your meeting, this is what I was told. As long as they got a tight end out there, I could play base. Now, I know what you're thinking. 1 back, tight end, 3 wide receivers. Get in your nickel. But if you do the numbers, you got 2 linemen and 2 guys standing up. The same 2 guys that you say are linemen, 91 and 52, in a different page in the playbook, they go from lineman to linebacker. Fine. But they still got 5 guys, actually 6 to block. You're down 4, and you're 2 at the next level.
Right.
So worst case, they're going to get to the next level, that's 5 yards. So Fritz Shurmur broke it down for me, my defensive coordinator. As long as there's a tight end out there, I can run my base. I'll run my base 4-3 or my base 3-4. Where you got a guy over the nose, 2 tackles, and then you have the 4 linebackers. And you can play base around it. If one of your safeties can cover, which I used to do, we stayed in our base, we stopped the run. Because that's the illusion, Tom, of the offensive coordinator saying, if I put what we used to call Q personnel, 3 wide receivers and a tight end and 1 back, well, they're going to put their dime out there, and we can run the ball.
Yeah.
I don't care what the down is. I'm going to run the ball based on the analytics. I have 5 linemen. You have 4. To get the line, and you tell the running back, I'm going to get you to 3-4 yards. You got to do after that is on you.
Right.
So a better question would be, if they have 5 linemen, you have 4, can you play base?
Right.
And then just wait for the answer.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the question.
Yeah.
And here's what I suspect that they're thinking is that, okay, there's 3 wide receivers.
Yes.
And if they don't play nickel, one of those wide receivers is lined up against Rudy Ford or Jonathan Owens.
Yes.
And I suspect that if Darnell Savage was in the was healthy, they would go to base and put Darnell Savage on him, but they don't trust Rudy Ford and Jonathan Owens to cover in the red zone, which, they're both box safeties, really.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but then go to use a different personnel. Bring Innis Gaines in as the other safety because he's a slot corner, too. He's a safety slot corner. So bring him in, as the other safety, play your base.
AJ Jr.
He can, right, and line
I know
them
what
up.
you're saying.
So it's a personnel thing, I think, as well as as just what your base is or what your nickel. So,
well, big nickel means you can bring in another lineman or another linebacker too.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, to me, that's what you got to use your personnel a little bit better. And I don't know. They have to figure it out one way or the other.
Well, yeah, because guess what? Los Angeles run the same thing.
Yeah, and Eckler will run all over them.
Same thing.
And these guys got a quarterback. I mean, Kenny Pickett's
they like to sling it.
Not a third of the quarterback that just.
Well, Keenan Allen to me is a Hall of Famer that's playing. I mean, the guy's a tremendous guy, but I would just say to me, sometimes you got to pick your poison. You got to stop the run, put it on the quarterback to have a career day, or you just say, you know what, I'm going to play coverage. and make them run the ball, we can handle it with our front four. But once a guy gets real high and gets turned out, I mean, some of these holes were gaping holes.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
we'll show some of those on X's and O's.
You can see Najee Harris shocked how big the holes were, him and Warren.
Yeah.
Because they were told all week, they've been playing good against the run, but we're still going to run it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think Matt Canada, he's on the field.
Yeah.
Because he wants to get a better embrace of what's going on as far as running the ball in the field. So, yeah, stopping the run is something that we've always talked about. But at this point, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd play a little bit more base if they could.
Okay. Last thing, we got to give a shout out to Zach Tom for the way he played against T.J. Watt. And, you know, they definitely made things, structured things so that Love wasn't hanging on to the ball much. But, you know, Tom didn't, other than the one sack, I don't think he got beat off the ball right away at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
he got good technique. He's really small, but the guy's smart, man. This may be one of the gems of that draft class.
Yeah.
But you can put him anywhere, he'll play, and you just feel good about it.
Yeah, yeah. He can
He
pass.
didn't go, remember how Max Crosby went off? Aiden Hutchinson and these guys?
Yeah.
T.J. Watt wasn't like the normal T.J. Watt, which was good. Because you were thinking going in that game, this guy had 4 or 5 sacks and just disrupt everything like Crosby did.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if the Chargers just leave Khalil Mack on the right side and say, we'll let him go all day against Rasheed Walker because we don't want him up against Zach Tom. That'll be kind of interesting to watch on Sunday. Anyway, let's go to your prediction.
Yeah, well, I would say the Chargers are a very underperforming team. I mean, they got so much talent. I mean, it's like an all-star defense. Derwin James, Khalil Mack. I mean, Austin Eckler, when healthy, is one of the top 2 backs in this league, dual threat. The quarterback is an ascending quarterback. He still gives you some opportunities. Even when I saw him play against the Badgers in a bowl game, he was in Oregon. This team should probably have 3 more wins. And so I would say that with the Packers.
Yeah.
Packers are at home, but I think the Chargers will win 30-23.
Yeah, I mean, this team put up 430 yards against, or 70 or whatever it was against Detroit. So these guys can.
They can score.
They can score, but they can be scored on. Detroit has
you can run the ball on
533
it.
yards.
I expect Aaron Jones to have a career day.
Yeah, and he's coming off a bad game. That was one of the worst games he's had in a while, and he knew it afterwards.
Run the football. It's some great opportunities. Yeah. Great opportunities.
All right.
I want to thank Pick and Save. You can go to Pick and Save /LeRoy Butler for all my recipes. I got some new recipes coming out. Again, if you're in the South Milwaukee area, I want you to really check out Torzala Brewery. They have some specialty beers there. Actually, we're working on a Leap root beer for kids because everybody knows I don't drink. But I'm excited for that. So that's Torzala. And again, Educated Credit Union, thank you so much for helping financial literacy for kids and families. And again, we're all thankful for our family. I want to say my condolences to Bishop Daniels, who transitioned and this weekend. So he was one of my mentors. And so condolences to the Daniels family. And again, stay tuned for the X's and O's. We got some good stuff for you.
All right. And we will see you after the Chargers game. Don't forget X's and O's. Yep. See you next time.